Okay guys, so we're in chapter 3, section 1. It talks about lines and angles. So the first thing, we already talked about perpendicular lines. So something that usually goes along with perpendicular lines is the idea of parallel lines. So two lines are parallel. Now some people, a lot of people will answer this and they'll say two lines that never cross. And that's technically incorrect. Okay, in order to be parallel lines, they have to be coplanar. If they are coplanar and do not intersect. Okay, so when I'm in school, I'll show you guys a 3D box, but I can probably get a book. I'll get a book and show you, but if we look at this figure here, okay, so we've got this cube, all right? So this line here would be parallel to this line here, okay? Why? Because they're never going to cross and they're in the same plane. Now, so you're saying, well, yeah, that the old definition would work, and I'm going to show you why it doesn't, okay? So if you have lines that don't intersect, okay, and are not coplanar, okay, are called skew lines. So in this picture of this cube, if I had this line right here and I had this one here, those two lines are never going to cross, okay? But you would never say that that's parallel to that, okay? Those lines are called skew lines because they're in different planes. This line is in this plane, okay? And this line is in this plane, so they're in different planes. This one goes this way, this one goes this way. They're never going to cross. They're called skew lines, okay? So in this section, you'll have some questions. They'll ask you parallel, perpendicular, or skew, and you'll have to determine which one's which. So they have these two postulates, and these are not things that you have to memorize, but there are things that I want to talk about. One is called the parallel postulate, and another one that's just like that is called a perpendicular postulate. Okay, so the parallel postulate says that if you have a line and you have a point that's not on that line, there's exactly one line that you can draw that would be through that point that would make the two lines parallel. If you were to draw that line in any other way at any other angle, they wouldn't be parallel. Okay, and the same thing is true for this perpendicular postulate. You have a line and you have a point that's not on your line. There is exactly one line that you can draw through there that would make that line perpendicular. Okay, so again, it's not a huge idea in the section, but they go through it, so I want to make sure you understand what it might help you answer a few questions. Do I expect to see that on a quiz or a test? No. All right, so let's say we had two lines like this, okay, not necessarily parallel, just two lines, and then I have a third line that goes up like this. This line is called a transversal. Okay, it's a line that intersects two or more lines. Okay, that's what a transversal is. And then when that happens, it creates a bunch of angles. And I'm just going to number them. You can number them differently. It doesn't matter. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to number them different ways for you so that you don't try to memorize numbers and you actually understand their relationships. So when you do this, you're going to have some angles that are interior angles and angles that are exterior. So if I have what are called interior angles, it's the angles that are in between the two lines. So that would be 3, angle 4, angle 5, and angle 6. Okay? And then if I had exterior angles, those are angles that are on the outside of those lines. So that would be angle 1, angle 2, angle 7, and angle 8. So I have some that are interior on the inside, and then I have some in the exterior on the outside. Now, we also have very specific names for these angles, and there's angle pair relationships, and we're going to learn that probably more so in section 3.3, but I do want to know these relationships. And the first one's called corresponding. So if you have two angles that are corresponding angles, and these are frequently questions on the MCAS test, so it is important that you know this stuff. Corresponding angles. If I look at this group of four up here and I pick angle 1, angle 1's kind of like in the top left. So if I look at the bottom four angles, what angle is in the top left of the bottom four angles? That would be angle 5. If you look, those angles kind of look similar. They correspond. So angle 1 and angle 5 would be a pair. Okay? If I picked angle 2, that's kind of like top right up here. Top right in this group. What's top right down here? Angle 6. And I could pick this angle over here, and that's going to be angle 3, and that matches this angle here, which is angle 7. And then there's only two left that we have, and that's angle 4 and angle 8. So those are called corresponding angles. Important relationship to know, okay? Important relationship to know. So then we have some that are called alternate exterior angles. So they're on the outside and they're on the alternate side of my line. So if I said angle 7, okay, what's another angle that would match angle 7? And